feel good music, you can move on. Relax, stress-free, leave your cares at home. Leave your cares at home. Get your two-step, get your groove on. This is feel good music, you can move on. Relax, stress-free, leave your cares at home. Leave your cares at home.
Yep. You know what day it is, everybody. It is Tuesday night. We are here. It's your man, Russ Mitchell, the Homesick Buckeye. We are live from Jacksonville, Florida, from the solar-powered studios here. And we have our man. He is a 40-year carnivore and a 40-year assassin of things, living things. He is our guy, Charger Mopar. How you doing, brother? We are glad you guys are here hanging out with us. Man, we were talking before the show. It is hot. It's hot just like an oven. Yeah, it has been hot here. And, it's going to be like that till Thanksgiving around these parts. So you just got to get used to it. And it is what it is. And speaking of hot, look who it is, everybody. He's a sideways guy. He's I think he figured out his phone there. So he's
I was just watching the ride and quack.
Yeah. There you go, Pete. Yeah, we were just talking about how hot. I know you're down south of me a little bit there.
Oh man, it is hot. It's so funny how fast it turned to full-blown summer down here in like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hot.
You walk outside, man, it feels like somebody's just right there in your doorstep with a blowtorch, man, just giving you the business.
It's so humid. It's really it's Rick's favorite weather.
Ugh. You know, I tell everybody, people spend thousands of dollars putting in a sauna, but here we get the sauna for free. All you have to do is go outside or just turn off your air conditioner. And before you know it, you'll be sweating like you if you were in the best country club sauna ever.
Look at the three of us sweating to the oldies.
I'm not sweating. I'm not sweating. I got the AC at 61, and we are just I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Remember
Richard Simmons.
Yes. I'm trying to wish we could forget Richard Simmons.
He had those orange and white striped little tight pants.
Yeah.
He was fruitier than Paul Saladino.
Yes. Now in this heat, don't the reptiles move a little faster?
Not really. They tend to be harder to find.
Yeah, I know.
Because usually in the cold weather, they'll sit in the sun near the canal. They're easy to catch. When it's hot, it's too hot for them. So they'll either go in the water or they'll go in the bushes.
Yeah.
Let's see who we got in the room here. Looks like Lizzie is here. Hello there, beloved. Glad to see you. We got the feral grandma here today. Says, I am full of praises today. Carnivore Muscle noticed improvement in both his pain levels and walking speed.
Nice.
Barkay has been giving the Sugar Diet crew the scorn and mocking needed. Hey, Barkay, we'll give you the business.
The Barkay had a great video today. This guy was talking about the sugar diet. It was hilarious. It was, I get such a kick out of it. It's just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to check him out there. I used to catch his videos a little more often years ago.
He was doing a reaction video to this idiot who was, trying to say how great the sugar diet is. And it's just insane.
Yeah, we already have the sugar diet. It's called the standard American diet. I don't know how much more sugar you'd have to get a sugar IV.
Yeah.
She says, Feral Grandma says one more. Looks like Aaron's little new chick with the crooked and hernia might make it. One of her kids wants it to be his special pet. Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's talking about Booby Goats there, I'm going to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Emily is here. Hello, beloved. Glad to see you with us. And Kitchen Witch is here. Lift me up where I belong. I don't know if that's a request. Love lift us up where we belong. Up where the eagles fly. On a mountain high. Yeah, yeah. There you go. That's about all I know.
That's Tanya. Kitchen Witch is Tanya.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you're here, beloved. And who else we got? Jeffrey is here. Hello, Rick, Russ, and Rick. Glad to be here tonight. Well, I'm glad you're here too. Jersey Tom is in the building. Always good to see my man. Glad to see you. And I think Sandy is here. Good to see you, beloved. Don Shonger's here. Glad to see you're here with us. And says, Jimmy says, I hurt my back today and it was on the table. So I love you. Well, I love you back. And I'm so sorry that you're hurt. But just get a little bit of a beef tallow and rub it on there, and you'll be good in no time. I hope you feel better. My man, Chicago's finest in the building. Chance is here. Arg. Everybody's favorite carnivore pirate.
Hey, Chance.
Good to see you, brother. And who else said, oh, Bruce is here early. Now, Bruce made it he made it the distance last week. He was yawning, but he made it past the finish line. It says all Florida tonight. Yes, we got the Florida boys here in the building. Glad my man Pete is with us here.
It's an all Florida crew.
Yes, Lambs is here. Good to see you. Mike says, with these two guys, the quackery will never stop. We got quack heart attack. Blessed with us here, man. He has been trying to kill himself with bacon grease for 40 years now, and he's like, it ain't working.
Oh, I had a couple nights ago. I had a nice roast duck.
Ooh,
yeah.
From the canal?
No, this was the expensive one from Costco.
Ooh.
Yeah, I gotta look for that here, man. I've not seen that at Costco here. I must not be
It's
looking.
It's in the refrigerated, section, and you just heat it up.
Gotcha. Lori is here. Hello to you, beloved. I'm so glad you are here. Did I miss you last week? I didn't know if I saw you last week. I can't remember. I smoked a lot of bad weed. I can't. Thanks. Too many seeds and stems. I can't remember anything. A long time ago. Long time.
You know what's funny? I can't even remember the last time that I had anything, like weed or alcohol or nothing. Like all I want tonight, I had a gigantic T-bone steak. It was a monster.
Oh,
I felt like Rick eating that thing. Like I was like, I felt ashamed. It was so big.
How big was it?
Yeah.
I would say it was at least it was probably a pound and a half to 2 pounds.
Okay, that's normal size for me.
Yeah.
You were ashamed you didn't share it with anybody? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, there's no sharing. No sharing. Ask Rick if he shares his meat.
Well, the problem is that nobody can get it away from me. It's like feeding a cat. You ever give a cat a piece of meat, you try to pull it away, they go, "Arr."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's funny. I have this little 9-pound Maltipoo little dog, and she is like, she just like is like right in my face and crying. Until I give her meat, give her that, so I'm eating, she's eating, I'm eating, she's eating, I'm back and forth. I'm giving, I'm eating, I'm giving. And she's 9 pounds. So she's the Rick of dogs, 9 pounds. And she probably had half a pound of this thing. And now she's passed out. She's completely passed out. Here, look at this. Wait, look at this.
Hey,
could you see? Could you see?
I saw her.
Yes.
She's just like a coma, in a meat coma.
My cat does that too.
Yeah.
Lori says, Russ, your tips on dry binding was a game changer. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, beloved. But hey, listen, as much as I like to take a ownership of it, it was not an original thing. I stole it from somebody. And I'm so glad that it worked out for you. I will not steer you wrong on any grub. Now, if I tell you Something's good. Just eat it. And you'll be all right. Oh, look who's here. Our favorite Dr. Nelson is in the building. Dr. Vasquez is here. Good to see you, brother. So glad you're here.
Yes.
My dad asked about you today.
And that interview with Diane Ladd, who has MS, had MS, I should say, and rheumatoid arthritis. Great interview today at 3:00 on Dr. Kilt's channel.
Saw that too.
Yeah, it was a really good one. She's fantastic.
Yeah. My dad asked about you, Doc. I said, well, I'll probably catch up with him in some way, shape, or form on the show tonight. So I was right on that prediction. Let's see who else we got. Anybody else in here that now that I can tolerate chicken without the skin, I'm enjoying your heart attack chicken too much, Rick.
Nice.
There you go.
That's
Now,
interesting. You couldn't tolerate the skin?
Well, I don't even like chicken with the skin unless it's fried. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you a little secret here, Lori. It may not. It's not a secret if I know it. Trust me. But you can do a wet brine on chicken.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because it's a different kind of meat. It's not like the red meat. But you basically get salt and water. You can put other things in there too for flavor if you like, some herbs or things like that, and soak it in the refrigerator for at least a few hours. But you can take the same rock salt with water and put it in there, and that meat will absorb the salt, and it seasons it and helps it. You can Google it. I don't eat a lot of chicken, and I don't brine it, but I know some people who do some wet brining on chicken when they barbecue and stuff like that, and it does really make a big difference.
I like it the skin really crispy.
Yeah. Especially, well, if you're barbecuing, it's a little bit, but especially the breast is the fat, the legs and the thighs, you don't really need to really brine. They're kind of fatty and more tender anyway. But
I really try and stay away from white meat chicken.
Yeah.
Unless you get parking lot chicken, that meat's dark.
Yeah.
If I do eat chicken, I slather it in Alfredo sauce or butter or something kind of fatty.
Those chickens they're dark like the brothers.
Hey, that concludes the racist portion of this program. we like to thank Clinton for showing up here this way. Oh, all right. Let's see who else we got here. Carnivore Keith says, I'm here for a little while. Good to see you, my man. Glad you're here. Let's see. I think I got everybody. If not, it says I can only attend every other Tuesday. I go singing every other Tuesday. Now, how about that? Well, I go singing every Tuesday here, pretty much. If people have a request, our Carnivore is here. Charlie, my man, may the fat be with you.
I have a request.
Uh-oh.
Suspicious Minds.
Elvis.
We're caught in a trap. You know that song?
I know.
I only know a couple. The only Elvis song I know is one for the money, two for the show. We get ready.
Blue suede shoes.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of Elvis. Love me tender, love me true. So, a little before my time, but let's see here, Sandy. Anyway, what did you guys do for Memorial Day? Anything special, guys? You can put it in the chat. Did you make anything special? For us, grilling steaks is not really a special thing, but we do that on a regular occasion. But maybe you did something special, had some family over. I had an eventful weekend, which I would happily tell you guys about. But you first, anything special, Pete?
Not really. I went over my girlfriend's house when she made a Chilean salmon, like a wild caught Chilean salmon.
Yeah,
it was very, very good. It was very delicious, like oven roasted. It was very nice.
Yes, Simpson says, "Hey there." Now, does she eat the way you eat, or is it she just kind of?
She's Russian. She makes this. Those skinny cucumbers. They're long and thin, and then she scrapes the outside off, the skin off of it, and she makes it's like a cucumber salad with tomato and peppers and some dill and parsley, and tosses it in avocado oil. So I guess technically it's like a keto kind of salad for me. And I'll have that when I'm over there. I normally don't have any of that stuff when I'm by myself. I don't have any of that stuff, but she makes that, and then she'll sometimes make a sweet potato or something like that. But
yeah,
otherwise it's for the most part, she eats pretty healthy. She likes meat. She likes any kind of meat. She likes when I grill steaks. She likes to eat the steak, but she doesn't eat the fat. Like, she'll take the fat and cut all the fat off of it.
right.
And I'm just all I do is I pile the fat on my plate. I'm like, you gonna eat that? No. Then I just and I put it on my plate.
Yeah.
But she just has this major fat aversion. And no matter what I say, I tell her, I keep saying, Victoria, look at all the fat that I eat. She says, you eat that much butter in a day? I'll eat a stick of butter in a day. She can't believe that I can eat so much fat. And and I said, look, fat doesn't make you fat. That's, they taught you that, oh, fat makes you fat and it clogs up your arteries, and now you're going to die of a heart attack. I'm still waiting for my heart attack, Rick.
Yeah.
I was promised. I'm very mad because I've been, when I've been promised something, that he says, you're going to have this beautiful heart attack. And I'm like, I'm waiting for this beautiful where I'm going to go and just drop straight to the ground and face first, straight down, like a fence post, when it drops. And I'm thinking, oh, that's the way to go. That's my dream, right? I'm not going to go in a hospital bed, with tubes sticking out of me and all weak. And I don't even know who my kids are. I'm going to go like a fence post. Straight down, just boom.
Express. You're going to be in the Express, the VIP lady there.
Yeah, but I'm just waiting.
Yeah. Simpson said, I always used to do a salt brine on chicken, but now at least around here you can't buy it without it being in the solution. It's salty already. Now I'm just talking about if you buy just when they have it on sale, like chicken breasts or whatever, a family pack or even a whole chicken.
Do you eat gizzards, Russ?
No, I don't eat any. No, I know what they are. My grandma used to eat them and
stomach.
Man.
There was a place. I'm sure they still sell them around, but there was a place my grandma many, many years ago used to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
Oh,
and they had fried gizzards.
Oh, that sounds good.
As a side, of course, they were bread and everything like that, but
yeah,
I never ate those. I'm like, I don't know exactly what a gizzard is, but I can't.
And you don't like liver either, right?
No, brothers play the organ. We don't eat organ.
I
do. You know what? Rick said that raw liver is good.
Oh,
it is.
Next to what? Next to what?
Compared to than donuts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's see. We'll send that to the judges.
Better than an avocado.
Donuts? Absolutely. But no doubt about that. It's better for you than donuts. I give you that.
You know what somebody told me? Somebody told me what they do is they cut the liver up raw and they freeze it in cubes, like little cubes, and then they pop them just cold. I don't know. I guess if you can't stand the taste, if they're completely frozen and they're small, to where you can just pop them down almost like vitamin pills.
You can also make a liver ceviche if you don't like liver. Just marinate it all night in lime or sour orange.
Mm.
Yeah, that's no thank you. Doc says, why do I have a crown next to 3? That's because you are a king and you're third in line to the throne behind me and Rick. That's I don't know what it is, family. They got some kind of thing. I don't know what it is. Bruce says, if you click the crown at the top of the chat, it shows rankings. You can click on the question mark that explains it. It's not something that I did. I can barely put this live stream
Not on my channel either.
Yeah, I can barely put on this live stream. So I don't know what to tell you. You're all number one to me. How about that?
That's right.
Danny, hello there, beloved. Says, just jumped on, rolled some hamburger, put in the food dehydrator. I love munching on it better than potato chips.
Wow.
Rolled some
Anything's better
hamburger.
than a nasty potato chip. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. What about you, Rick? Anything special for the holiday? Did you do anything out of the ordinary, or just kind of regular old day?
I worked all weekend. I fixed air conditioners. I put up a fence. I did some electrical work, and I cleaned up some trash. And then I pulled out some bushes and trees at the house we were fixing up. They had sugar cane. They had some weird fruit tree and some mango trees. So I dug all that up. I replanted the sugar cane here because when and if I get my ducks back, they love sugar cane. Let me tell you, they'll nip on every sprout. They love that stuff, which I think is really funny because whoever thought ducks would eat sugar cane? But I guess because they like duck food, they love sugar. So I put that in there. And then that little fruit tree, I don't even know what that fruit is called. It has these little tiny, like little apple looking things. I'll have to look it up. But I've seen them in a lot of houses. And then, of course, mango trees. I got them in pots. When I move, I'll be replanting. I'll be digging out the little fruit trees I have here. The orange tree, the mango tree. All the small stuff's going to go. Because I knew whoever buys the place will cut everything else down. So I'll just start moving this stuff little by little.
You're moving? I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I'm moving to yet. I want to move out of here, but I have to wait until the market takes a crap so I can find a nice, affordable place. I want to be out in the country. I don't want to be in the suburbs. I don't want to be in the city. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in traffic. I want to go outside, walk to my duck pond, and not have to go to the canal. I'll just throw some duck food out there, and when the mood is right, I'll grab Ducky by the tail, and he'll be invited for dinner the very same day, and it'll be delicious.
Come on up to Jacksonville, man. We could use you up here, that's for sure.
There you go.
He says, howdy, beautiful people. Be my teddy bear. I don't know who she's talking to, but the last woman that said that to me ended up filing a restraining order against me. So I don't,
Well, it isn't me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that. But let's see here. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Elvis got Grammys for How Great Thou Art, and He Touched Me. That might be P.
That was the gospel day. That was the gospel period of Elvis.
He Touched Me might be P. Diddy's next hit. I don't know.
Yeah. He oiled me.
Now those are two songs I do. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. You know, I grew up in the church, so I know about every church song.
That's a very famous song.
Yes. Shout out to my dad who might be listening. They beat me and made me go to church.
We sang a lot of that at our synagogue. No, not really.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Come and get your love. I know bits and parts of songs. I can sing the hook of about any song. Come and get your love. But that's all I know. I don't know the verse. I don't know anything else. Andy Carnivore. I got to hang out with Hoosier Carnivore Saturday. Man, my man Brett is underground so far. They're pumping sunlight to him. I gotta reach out to my man.
I haven't seen him in ages.
Yes, but he's obviously still out there. He's hanging out at meetups, it looks like, man. Maybe he's giving up the YouTube life. But he's like,
last time I saw Brett was when we were in Tampa, Russ, when we were all together.
Yeah. He was on the grill, did a great job.
I don't even know what a meetup is like.
We're gonna have to start a meetup, Rick. We're gonna have to get some canal duck, parking lot chicken, get some roasted iguana boiled up. Can you imagine if you sent out the menu, how many people you think we'd get?
Maybe 2.
Me and you.
Yeah.
I'll eat all of it.
Listen, people would just come to behold that.
last week, Russ, the show turned into a combination of what's on the menu and what was the other thing?
Yep,
But it very quickly turned into what's on the menu.
Yes, yep, we'll eat it. That's the segment that we did. But yeah, we learned last week was kind of educational. We had my sister Laura was on the show, and I had a question about the lymphatic system, and so half of the show was educational, and the other half was goofy as it normally is. So, speaking of goofy, and since we're talking about fat, I will talk about my holiday, which was eventful. It was good, and I had my family here. My vegetarian family was here, and you would have been proud of me, man. I was in full evangelistic mode. Wow. I gave them the business.
Did you become the carnivore reverend with them?
No. I did not so much. But I gave them the business. They had got it from start to finish. I made them listen to it because it's my house, my rules. And I made Kilt's ice cream for everybody because they were going to go get regular ice cream. And I said, hey, and I gave them some the night before because it was my nephew's birthday. So they were going to have ice cream and cake and stuff.
Yeah.
And they had pizza and all kind of stuff. I had none of it. Didn't even get a whiff of it.
What did you eat?
I made, see that, and that's what I'm getting to. And that was the wonderful part of the weekend, having my family and stuff here. Now, this is where it gets, interesting and maybe funny. Speaking of interesting and maybe funny, look who it is, everybody. Hey. It's our good friend, Dr. Nelson Vasquez, medical director for Kilt's Body Health. Well, here's what happened. I decided that since it was a long weekend, that I would try to up my fat intake.
Oh, really?
So, yes. So I made oxtails and I made picanha and didn't trim any of the fat off of it.
And how did you do with the fat cap?
Yeah. Let's just say this week's broadcast is brought to you by Cottonelle. Yes, okay. Yeah, it didn't go well. I guess it could have been worse. It couldn't have, it didn't go as bad as I thought, but it probably couldn't have gone as bad as
I think impossible. Russ, if you slowly ramped up your fats more on a slower basis and you kind of upped it little by little by little, you'd eventually get to the point where you could tolerate more fat without bathroom problems. I'll bet you.
Well,
it takes time though.
That might be true. I'm shooting for 2037. That's our target.
Yeah.
Target.
Although there are some people that just
I think
towards...
it's an individual thing. I just think it's an individual thing. But I mean, I can tolerate more than I used to for sure.
Yeah.
But and it may be something, as I lose more weight that I don't know. Why don't you weigh in here, Doc? Go ahead, make a joke about me. Feel free. I'm gonna open a fair game here.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna make jokes about that, but don't trust the fart.
Yeah. Well, I know that. I've learned that already.
Russ, do you have a gallbladder?
If you haven't pooped on yourself, you have not done keto right. I can tell you that right now. You are just impossible. Yeah. If you haven't, it happened to me twice, and fortunately, both times I was in the bathroom when it happened. But go ahead, Pete.
I was gonna say, do you have a gallbladder, Russ?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes it a little easier.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, I think it's an individual thing. I think some people just naturally can take more than others. And like I said, I certainly can take way more than I used to be able to. But it was just a little too much. Maybe one or the other.
You're not having a low-fat diet, right? I mean, you're already eating a certain amount of fat.
I don't count it or measure it, or like people say, well, I eat 60%. I just eat ground beef and, ribeyes and New York strips, and I get, butter, and, I don't really,
But
Sounds like
like I said, I know that I am eating way more than I did, say, 2 years ago. Man, I couldn't hardly eat. Man, I would eat a few hot dogs, and it would give me some problems. And now I can eat a whole pack of hot dogs and nothing at all. Same way with the fattier meats. Again,
Can you eat bacon, or is that too much
I
fat?
don't, I don't eat a lot of bacon anymore, but I used to eat bacon. I grew up not really eating pork,
Okay.
so it doesn't. Bacon is one of the few things that I can eat very well. The problem with bacon for me, the reason I stopped eating it was because it just didn't satisfy me. When I would eat, say in the morning, I would have bacon, eggs, something like that. Man, within a few hours, I'd be hungry. But if I eat, steak and eggs or ground beef and eggs or anything like that, I just seems like it holds on to me much, much longer. So that's why I kind of stopped eating it.
I'm hearing some background noise from
It's like the
somebody.
TV's on or something. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely noise in the background.
Not on my end.
So yeah, it's definitely not on my end. So yeah, so that's but it was an eventful weekend. I did a lot of evangelism, and that's a big part of it. Also got some news from a friend of mine that their mother is going to have a bypass surgery. She's diabetic and on all kind of medications, and
Yeah.
listen, I went into full blown, ketogenic evangelism, and I heard about that and said, hey, and I told him about Dr. Ovadia, and hey, when she gets done with that surgery and stuff, they're going to want to put her on even more medications, get a second, third opinion, and change your diet, change your life. So
now, Russ, you said you had oxtails?
Yes, I made oxtails and picanha, and that's what I ate through the weekend. And actually, I have just a little bit of it left. Just a little bit of it left that I'm going to eat tomorrow, and then I'll be done with it.
Because oxtail's pretty high in fat.
You better believe it is, and that's like I said. But maybe I overdid. Well, not maybe I overdid it, but I wanted to do that. I wanted to go. I could have just had oxtails or the picanha with all the cap left on it, but I decided to. Hey, listen, I had an extra day. I didn't have anywhere to go, so
you did a fat cleanse.
yeah. Yes, I did a cleanse, and I say fat doesn't make you fat, but it will make you miss some appointments if you.
Hey, Dr. Nelson, you know what they say? His tube is now clean.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Let's see. Josephine says, I've had my son here. I have a lot to catch up and realize, even though I could not hear. Or hopefully I get to hear this one. Well, you may live to regret that there, Josephine. Kitchen says, I'm making that at the restaurant for the tour of Romania buffet. Forget what the salad is called. Oh, that was you were talking about something there, Pete.
Oh yeah, it's like she's Russian, so they have that in Russia a lot. It's like a cucumber tomato salad, basically.
DS111 says, Rick will eat a snake. I don't listen to Rick.
Hey, snakes are delicious.
Snakes are supposed to be super delicious.
Of course
so
they
Ross,
are.
Ross, you don't like gizzards?
No. Actually, well, I've never really had a gizzard, although my grandmother used to eat them, and I don't know. The whole thought of innards and organs and things just really creeps me out.
It was one of my favorite foods growing up. My mother cooked them, usually in sort of a stew. Popeyes, Maryland fried chicken, and the one you mentioned used to, and in some places they still have that, but they're breaded. They still have it as a side.
Yeah, I've never seen them down here. I haven't had Popeye's chicken in quite a little while, but I don't remember them being on the menu down here. Tom says, aren't gizzards lizards with a bad cough? Yeah.
In the South, they do a lot of like fried okra.
Yes, yeah. My grandmother used to boil it and all that kind of stuff too. I could take it or leave it. Not a big fan of.
Stuff's nasty.
That grandma says, Russ, the gizzard is the crop. When birds peck up gravel, the gravel and hard grains go to the crop, so seeds get pounded by the gravel. Yeah, I knew it was some type of organ or innard, and yeah, just yeah. Jiffy says, I love Elvis. I survived a summer stint at King's College London in the 80s listening to the King singing the American Trilogy. I was so young and homesick. There you go. And look who it is. It's our sister. There's my beloved sister Laura's here. We were just talking about you.
Hello, Laura.
Just talking about how much we learned last week.
Oh yeah.
I bought 3 bars of vanilla tallow soap from Laura's store.
So it says, tell Laura I love her. What to tell her that I love her.
That's the song.
My mind and soul and body need to tell her that I love her. Okay, let's see here. Right there.
I don't think that's that song though.
That's hello. I think that
This
girl,
is a
Stevie Wonder,
50s or 60s, 50s song where the guy dies in a car crash, and he's telling the people that to tell Laura that I love her.
There you go. Is that I think was that did Christopher Cross or somebody says think I love her, but laugh, don't cry. I know she wanted that way. I don't think it's Laura. I don't think Laura's the name of it.
That's not the song.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry if I butchered your song there, Laura. I'm very sorry. Let's see. I think it's great music, Russ. Lisa said that was beautiful. I don't know what she was talking about. Oh, probably the How Great Thou Art. Yes, I have to sing a song for Sandy. Sandy likes it when I sing songs. And oh yeah, Shannon's driving.
Hey Russ, remember the song "Tears of a Clown"?
Yes,
I remember it.
that's Smokey Robinson. The Tears of a Clown.
When there's no one around.
I don't know the words. I know the tune.
The question is, does anybody remember the song "Sunday Will Never Be the Same"?
No.
I figured that. I had my own version of it.
Yes. I know rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
Isn't that the Carpenters?
That or Charlie Simon. I don't know.
No.
Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
No, that's the Carpenters.
That's the Carpenters.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
right.
Carpenters.
To myself and feeling fine. That's the Carpenters.
And she died of anorexia, bulimia.
Yeah. Karen Carpenter starved herself.
Yeah, she did. She died.
Andy Conner says, Russ, Brett is parked in my yard for the past 2 years now for the Indy 500. I had the grill going, and he was kind enough to have fillets for some other guests and a bone and ribeye for him.
There
Brett
you go.
is the best. Brett is my guy, and we love that guy, man. He's great. I got to reach out to him here and see why he's been hiding from us. Send him to Sunday school. My last Bible from Genesis to Acts, the road to Damascus. Yeah, listen, I grew up in the church. I know a lot of church songs. I don't remember a ton of them. Again, same thing. The words are the slow part. I remember the tunes, but not so much the words. Low Carb Carnivore says, hey, everyone. Hello to you. Good to see you. Lamb says, pork belly steak is my vice for some reason. Never had issues with the fat content. Yeah. Talking barbecue pork ribs on Sunday. Tasted like candy about the barbecue. So.
That's when I get the garden hose out.
This call will not be necessary.
Yeah. Low Carb Carnivore says, what are all of your thoughts on alternate day fasting? I have a night fasting program. Some people call it sleep. I don't eat anything when I'm sleeping. Other than that, I have not gotten there. Being hungry is the fastest way for me to end up in somebody's drive-through. So I try to make sure that I keep, can't be hungry. But I think it's wonderful, and it does, of course, have benefits. That sounds like a question for our esteemed doctor. Doc, tell us about alternate day fasting and what your thoughts are on that.
First of all, haven't tried it, but I try to fast at least one day a week. Doesn't always work, but try to eat once a day. A lot of people have used it as a way to sort of trick the body, doing something different every day. And I know Target Ribeye for a while was doing alternate day fasting. He was here, right?
Yeah, no. I know lots of people that fast, but I don't know anybody that does alternate day fasting. But of course, 3-day, 9-day. I know people have done a lot of fasting. Not that advanced yet. Maybe one day, but I've had the closest I've gotten to it is like a 1 meal a day kind of thing, and I just eat when I'm hungry. Really, I don't.
I'm not going to starve myself.
Laura says, yes, Russ, eat more fat. Yeah. Okay.
You don't need to, Rick.
3 meals a day for me every day. That's what I want.
Sandy says, Laura's very knowledgeable, also pretty. Pretty what?
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding. She got cut off there. Also pretty mean.
What?
Yeah, she is pretty mean. I agree. I agree with you on that. Oh my God. I'm just kidding. She knows I adore her. She is the best.
I usually do intermittent fasting. I usually do 2 meals a day, but recently I've been going to the Rick diet of 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel better.
That's right.
And I'm still, just as skinny as I was. I'm not quite as skinny as Rick. I mean, but, getting there.
You got the testosterone of a 25-year-old.
That's true. My testosterone went from 200, Dr. Nelson, barely 200, to now it's over 650, and I'm going to be 63.
That is great.
Girlfriend's in danger.
Yeah.
I hope you have a younger girlfriend.
Well, she's 5 years younger. She's 57, going to be 58.
Okay.
She thinks there's something wrong with me.
Well, I don't know if anyone is arguing.
Yeah, you walk right into that one.
Wrong with you, but
yeah, you walk right into that one, brother.
Yeah.
Feral Grandma says goodbye. Good night, beloved. Glad you were able to hang out with us for a little while. Good to see you. And she says, thanks, Sandy. Yes, Dr. Nelson, my grandmother played that song and Laura's theme from Dr. Zhivago movie in the 50s.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Zhivago, a great movie.
Da, 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 da. I know all that stuff.
Yes, one of them says, if I don't eat enough in the late afternoon, I can't sleep and wake up and eat breakfast, even at 11.
Rick probably has Take the A Train.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
I know that.
He gets
I love that big band.
Yeah, big band.
So proud of you, Russ, staying string with the family there. I'm pretty sure she meant strong. But she's illiterate. So I appreciate that.
How did your family like the Kilt's ice cream?
It was it was good. It was a hit, and I'm lucky, my family doesn't like a lot of super sweet things. So I made it with a little bit of allulose and monk fruit extract in it. Not very much. It wasn't very sweet, just a hint of sweetness, and they really liked it. It was a hit. And so that was good.
Did you
And
put
yeah,
vanilla in it?
say that again.
Did you put vanilla in?
Nope, just eggs, cream, and a little bit of like a sweetener there, and that was it. And yeah, I just I'm trying to tighten up a little bit. I get a little loosey goosey. So
How
I'm trying
about
to tighten
iguana
up.
frozen yogurt?
Frozen. Oh, iguana yogurt. I don't know what that is. But
Iguana
I don't
frozen
think I want to
yogurt.
know what that is.
Has little
put
chunks of iguana in the yogurt.
Yeah, you put chunks of iguana, you put your yogurt in the freezer, and you get
Oh.
iguana frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
I don't know about
I'll
that.
pass on that.
It's good. I
in
love it.
Miami, that's a hit.
Problem is Miami, everybody here is a carboholic. You look at all these people here, especially these Guatemalans and Mexicans, they may be little, they may be somewhat skinny, but they all got a big gut. And the older they get, the fatter they get. They all look like a bunch of blimps walking around. They have the build of a jelly bean. Ronald Reagan would be proud.
And they eat 10 to 15 tortillas a day.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans and Cubans probably have the same amount in carbs in rice and beans.
Yeah. Oh, beans. Beans are very, very high in carbohydrate. It's amazing if you look at a can of beans, how many carbs are in that. And it's what's really crazy is how many servings they tell you. It's like one little can of beans is like 6 servings, and it's like 20 carbs per serving.
Yeah, but they're eating big old bowls of rice.
I know, that's what I mean. That's why it's a joke to say, man, I got a 8-year-old nephew that could eat a whole can of beans.
Yeah.
Papa, you have an echo, Papa Carnivore.
Is there? Wait, is that better? Is that better?
I never heard an echo. Did you hear an echo?
Yeah,
Rick?
when he was talking, there was an echo. But yeah, a small can of beans, like a Goya or any other brand, has about 80 carbs total in that liter can.
Yeah.
And if you're going to cook for a whole family, you need to use a couple of those cans at least, minimum.
And the rice has just as much.
Mm-hmm.
You should see how much rice and beans they buy at Presidente and Sedano's. When I go there to get meat, I look at the shopping carts.
Yeah.
That some people, they get these giant bags of rice. I mean, things got to be like a 20-pound bag. And then the beans, they buy bags of beans. I mean, beans after beans. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm glad I don't have to be in that car, because I can imagine how much gas they're dealing with driving back and forth to the store. They might as well buy one of those flatula backfire cars where they have a hose connected to the seat. So when you need more fuel, you just go. Remember that was on the internet about 10, 15 years ago? The fart car?
No, but I'm pretty sure I used to own one.
It was a parody of the smart car. You have to look it up. It's called Flatula Backfire. It's funny.
Do you fit in a smart car?
No. And it's funny. My friend of mine loaned me his Ford Escape when I was going back and forth to the job. My leg gets so stuck in that thing. I'm sitting in the car. My leg's like sideways. I feel like Lurch trying to go in the Addams Family car. It's terrible. But it's funny, when I drive my 69 Charger, I got plenty of room. The only problem is the floor fell out, so I end up on the road. But yeah, these little cars, smart car, forget it. Not going to fit in that. Although I did fit in a Fiat 500, which blew my mind. One of the guys that I work with, he has a Fiat 500. I didn't even think those things still ran. And I sat on the passenger side and I had enough leg room. I go, you got to be kidding me. And that thing was tiny.
Get a smart car and just get a couple of them, have them put sunroofs in them, and you can just stick your feet in them and just use them like roller skates.
I could put a smart car in the bed of my pickup truck.
Low Carb said he was doing 16.8 for a while. Trying this out to give my system a shock. You can also stick a fork in an outlet. That works. So far, so good.
It works better with a butter knife.
Hey, or get you some solar panels and try to wire them up yourself. Don't ask me how I know.
That's easy.
Yeah, I gave my system about 5 or 6 good shocks. Speaking of that, man, my solar panels have been on fire. It is unbelievable. I mean, I think they're going to melt. I mean, they have just been, it's been so sunny. and the days are long. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I need to get my wood gas generator going for hurricane season.
Oh, look at that. There's my dad. This is my first time on the chat. So
Wow.
does anybody recognize the fact that I'm chatting at all? Yes, Dad, I see you, brother. You are chatting. You are welcome to the 20th century. You are doing it, man.
I have a picture of Rick and I. You have to put it up.
You showed that on another. So yes, but we see you, Dad. We see you. Everybody say hey to my dad.
Hi, Melvin.
Yep, he likes to be called Mitch, not to be confused with the old guy Carnivore Mitch. But
which I'll be on with him in about a week or so.
Yes. Well, my dad is doing great. He has turned, let me see, 80. What did he turn? 80. Was born in 42, however long that is. I know they said there'd be no math.
86.
Yes, there you go. He's 86 years old and doing well, and doesn't eat as much fatty meat as I would like him to, but he is improving. He's getting better. And so, Dr. Nelson, he may have a question for you, but yes, Dad, if you have a question for Doc, you can slide it in there, and the folks say, hey.
The reason I knew that is my mom was born in 1940, and she's 84.
Yes, let's see here. Let's see. Looking to make sure I didn't see any more questions or any. Yeah, hopefully that'll be a regular here. He could use a little bit of encouragement from the family here to get him eating a little more ruminant meat, but he's off the sugars and the grains. He is a big believer in fruits and vegetables. He just believes in the power of fruits and vegetables. And so, there are worse things to eat, but he's off of the sugars and a lot of the grains.
He can also work a rib.
Yes.
I've seen him do that.
Yes, Doc is there we go. He says, greetings, good to see you again, Doc. I do have a question for you. Well, there you go, Pop. Ask away. Yeah, I heard Rick Milton is going to be on with Mitch in 3 weeks. Yeah. Let's see here. Sandy says we would love to have Melvin here all the time. Hey, now look now,
Mm-hmm.
Listen, one of these days I'm gonna get him on the cam and he can come in here and tell you guys what a knucklehead I was, although I know you believe that already. Federal Grandma said I came back. It's amazing how Federal jumped in the battery post. That is funny.
Russ, were you a deacon's nightmare?
Listen, man, I grew up in a small church. Let me tell you how it's the funniest thing when I think about it. Now, I grew up in a small church, only maybe like 30 members, and I'm pretty sure I have to think. I was the only one in the church that wasn't baptized.
Oh, really?
Yes. So when the preacher would give a sermon at the end, he give the altar call. Is there anyone here who wants to give their life to the Lord? Of course, everybody just turn around and look at me like, is this week? And I'd just be there and I'd just be like, is there one who will come today to give it? And like everybody else, so I was literally the lost soul in the church there. And I would just be like, yeah, it's not this week, man. It's not going to be this week.
The rebel.
Okay.
You've always been a rebel. It's amazing.
Yeah. My dad could tell you the stories about wrestling me to go to church from time I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I just wasn't really. I liked the music. I was all about that. There was a concert or anything like that, I was front and center. But the rest of it, I just wasn't into. But Doc, all right, here we go, Doc. It said, if the doctors want you to be on statins, you refuse to go on, what would you replace the Lipitor and the aspirin with?
All right, so let me put my serious hat on.
Listen, before you answer that, I just want to say that his doctor has been on him like crazy. He had a stent put in a while back. His doctor's been on him like crazy to take a statin. Of course, I'm telling him don't do it. He doesn't want to do it. But they started out with, I think, 25 or 30 milligrams, and now they're down to like 10. She's like, "Well, you just take 10." It's like, no. So, but go ahead, Doc, answer the question.
First of all, it's a highly individualized decision. He already has obviously coronary artery disease by the fact that they had to put stent on him. He did have heart attacks already, right?
No.
But he already has a blockage. So we're talking here about sort of secondary prevention. I don't know. There's a lot of nuance that you have to evaluate. If you were talking to Dr. Obadia, for example, he will say, well, let's check all the cholesterol particles and let's take a look at the imaging studies that you have done. But I'm not going to tell anyone not to take their statin, although it has to be a very individualized. The evidence for primary prevention is very weak. The evidence for secondary prevention, that means once you have the disease, it's a little bit stronger, but even for secondary prevention, it prevents 2 to 4%. It decreases your risk by 2 to 4%. So that's kind of on the low side.
The side effects and the other effects of the statins, many doctors, ketogenic doctors, say it's not worth it by any stretch.
And anyone over 75, the statin is probably not going to make any difference. There is no evidence for. So he being almost 10 years beyond that, the statin is probably not going to make much difference. But it is an individual decision. You have to consult with your doctor.
Yes, we don't want to. We're not going to. Can't give medical advice here on the internet. He has not examined you, and he is, of course, not your doctor. We have to give that disclaimer. So hopefully that ends. Now, I would to add to this. He says, "What would you replace it with?" I would say a ketogenic, heavy ketogenic carnivore diet. What do you say about that, Doc?
Well, we don't know. We don't know right now where his triglycerides and HDL are. So that would guide us where to emphasize. But certainly, I think that's the best way to go, a low-carb, high-fat diet. Definitely. The aspirin, for certain, I would probably keep. Even baby aspirin, someone who's 84 might increase the chances of some other problems, but I think it's a very good compromise. But the evidence for someone 84 is either poor or almost non-existent as far as helping.
So answer me this: what percentage would you say of patients that are quote unquote eligible for statins or the standard of care statin, what percentage would you say of those people, you as your doctor, when you examine them, recommend that they get on a statin?
I don't routinely do that anymore until I have the hard evidence. In other words, it's not going to be based just because you had a high cholesterol number.
Sure.
I'm going to look.
So an average standard American doctor is going to prescribe statins to 100, or maybe we'll say 90% or more of people who meet the certain requirement, whatever that magic number for cholesterol is.
Yeah.
They're going to say, "Oh, your cholesterol is blip number. You need to be on a statin right away." Would you say that's a fair assessment for a regular?
Guidelines right now basically call for, regardless of cholesterol numbers, if you've had a heart attack, a stroke, you should be on a statin. That's what the guidelines call for. If you have diabetes, you should be on a statin. Pharmaceutical companies have been able to convince everybody. And there are studies. I mean, is the studies, there might be explanations around it, but there are studies showing an increased risk of cardiovascular events with LDL, but triglycerides and HDL are, to me, are probably more important. And your metabolic health, if you are diabetic, pre-diabetic, any type of metabolic syndrome, inactive, just being obese, particularly in the presence of hyperinsulinemia, all these things, those are more important to correct than just an isolated LDL cholesterol. It is.
Right.
It shouldn't be considered by itself, this risk, because there are 10 things that are more important.
Right. So it sounds like if a person is eating a ketogenic diet, then you would be, the chances of you prescribing them a statin would be very low.
At 84, probably.
Right. But even at 34, it's going to be a low percentage, right? I mean, it's not going to be 50% of the patients who are going to do it.
Now, at 34, with evidence of heart disease, that might be another story. But it's high. You should individualize it. You shouldn't put blinders and just look at one number, which is what most doctors nowadays. Your total cholesterol is 201,
right?
Or your LDL is 101. They want it down to 70 if you have diabetes or evidence of cardiovascular disease. You cannot go just on one number. Inactivity, smoking, diabetes, all the things related to high insulin, metabolic syndrome are more risk factors than just the LDL cholesterol.
Well, there are some doctors out there who may or may not ride tractors in Tennessee, who who I've heard say throw them in the trash, eat fatty meats and eggs with the yolk, get rid of them, don't wean yourself off of them. I've heard that on live broadcast. So there's, you're being a little more moderated, which is your way, and I appreciate that actually.
Even him, I do listen to him as well. I've been around longer than him doing this, but even him would say, if you doctor insists or your wife insists, right? Take a little small amount. And Dr. Ford Brewer uses Crestor twice a week because they do have an anti-inflammatory effect. It's not because of the LDL. The reason they help some, and it's very poor statistics on that, but the reason they help some, I think, is more because of the anti-inflammatory and anticoagulant effect that they have than just because lowering the LDL.
Now tell me what you think about, I think Dave Diamond and others, I think it's Dave Diamond and others who have talked about it raising your blood sugar and the dementia side effects of statins. What are your opinions on that?
Both of them are. So I've looked into this. For one of the medications, one of the statins, the absolute risk reduction for cardiovascular events is 1.1%. For the same drug, the absolute risk increase for diabetes is like 1.7 to 1.8%. So,
but if you're already diabetic,
well, it's going to make it, I guess, worse unless you are doing something extraordinary to decrease the risk. Same thing with dementia. So yes, they do put you at risk, and the company, because I've asked the drug reps this, they try to minimize that. But when you compare numbers, the negative side effect is almost as strong as the positive numbers that they can present to you.
Now
Plus,
tell
they
me about-
manipulate the statistics and outright lie in the sense that they are quoting a statistic which is based on the numbers that's not real. The relative risk reduction. You can explain it away, but it is not the absolute risk reduction number. Anyways.
So briefly talk. Can you talk a little bit briefly about the studies that have been cited about people with higher LDL cholesterols having better immune systems, longer lives, stronger, less
Well,
incidence of cancer and such? How do you
everybody,
feel about those?
everybody that gets to 100 has has high cholesterol. So there is a lot to be learned even about cholesterol, but I think the emphasis has been misplaced, and
Mhm.
the people that usually make the rounds here and the other YouTubers that talk about ketogenic diets and carnivore diets, they already sort of know that the emphasis is misplaced.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Dad. Hope that helped you out. Sandy says, I've been taking 81 milligrams of baby aspirin every day for 20 years. Well, there you go. Looks like
The thing,
Pete might be
the
out.
thing, the thing with the aspirin is even Bayer. This has been a drug by Bayer 125 years ago or more. It costs pennies, so not a lot of people make a lot of money out of the aspirin, but it
Yeah.
reduces risk of heart attacks and strokes in people who already had one. But usually it takes taking a couple of other medications if needed. It's all in trying to individualize the risk that someone has. And at 84, for example, going back, that's how old your dad is, right?
Yeah. I think she said
Uh,
it. Yeah. He was
o-
born in 1942, so 83, 84. Yeah.
okay. He has a high risk of, sorry, Mr. Melvin, he has a high risk of dying from anything right now. He's way past his life expectancy. So
Yeah.
these statins will probably, they will, it's unlikely that they will make any difference.
Yeah. Bruce says, my very non-medical opinion is that even though LDL is a component of atherosclerotic plaque, it is not the only component. It needs a binder. That binder is sugar. What say you, Doc?
The first thing that gets damaged when on this whole process is something called the glycocalyx, which covers all the inside of the arteries, and is high blood sugars, high insulin, what actually initiates the inflammatory, starts the inflammatory process there. The cholesterol comes down the road, and there's plenty of explanations about this. In a month or so, I don't know if any of you have read the book, The Clot Thickens. I have it on Audible, and the author is from the United Kingdom, Malcolm Kendrick. He's going to be in one of the morning lives with Dr. Kiltz, and he explains beautifully there. He's a cholesterol skeptic. Cholesterol is involved in the plaque. It is not the cause of the plaque. Very interesting.
Oaktown Girl had a question. Why is there no law that doctors and hospitals reveal all their financial incentives with pharmaceuticals? I haven't even heard Maha push for that.
It's a tricky thing because I never received any money from the pharmaceutical companies directly. However, back in the 80s, when the laws were different, I got tickets to games and I got tickets to
Yeah.
go and watch the whales. I even got tickets one to a wrestling event. But at that time it was allowed, and unfortunately, you get a gift, and you're more flexible to consider that guy's
Yeah,
medication when you decide to write a
yeah,
medication.
yeah. You get
Uh,
your, you can get you can get some time with you.
but
You
the
know,
financial incentives are not directly. It's not pocket to pocket. It's indirectly, and nowadays insurance companies put pressure on the doctors to comply with the guidelines. For example, all diabetics need to be on a statin is one of the guidelines from the insurance companies, and they might penalize you for not doing that. So it's not a pocket to pocket exchange giving me additional money, but taking money away if I don't have those patients. Now, there are ways to go around it, and I always did that. Patient denies Medicaid. I was very flexible even before being more active in this community. I would, if the patient doesn't want to take something, he's the boss.
Yeah. Well, on this show, I'm the boss, and I would like to say that I think we have fulfilled our contractual obligations to the family. I want to thank everyone for joining us, including my dad tonight. His first time in the chat, probably his first time
Yep.
in the chat anywhere. So I love that, and who knows, maybe one day he'll pop on with us and do his thing. I love to see Dad there. Dad's doing well. Happy he's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Thriving. So, folks, we will be back here next week. Our girl Laura Russell will be with us, as well as who else ever decides to stop by. Until then, as always, we wish you all the best. And we want you to keep your carbs low, your proteins and fats high. We'll see you on the next one.
That's right.